Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a little get ready with me, mostly using shades from my Panda palette on my eyes. So yeah, this is what it's going to look like. It's mainly a combination of like how do I use my blue shadow after playing around with it a little bit. I'm also incorporating the silver, which are both hard shades for me to incorporate in looks at times. So I thought, let me actually show you guys how I'm using these shades, because I'm sure if I'm kind of struggling with figuring out how to use a blue shadow and a silver shadow, I won't be the only one. So I hope you like watching this, and yeah, let's just get going. Okay, so starting off, I've already gone ahead and primed my eyes with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and I put a little bit of a base on using the Hema little pencil that I still have left. I've been working on this for most of last year and it's getting smaller, so that is nice. First thing that I'm going to do is use my Naked palette, and with that I am using my deluxe crease brush from Real Techniques. I wanted to say Sleek, and I'm going into the shade Version right here to highlight my brow bone. So that is where we're getting started. I've got a nice little mirror in the palette itself, so that makes it easy. I just have to turn it around and I can use the mirror. Like normally I use the mirror that is like right beside me right here that you guys cannot see, but yeah, I would be looking away from the camera all the time, which isn't the best. So that is Version in the brow bone, and while we have Version there, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Urban Decay's Vice palette, and from that I'm gonna be taking Discreet, right? Yep, Discreet, which is the like kind of cooler toned mauvey transition shade, and that is gonna go in my crease. And for that I'm just using like a pretty regular blending brush. This one is from Hema as well. Yeah, it's just the Hema blending brush. I know like most of you guys probably don't have access to Hema, so it's pretty similar to the Sephora one that I've bought at some point as well. So this is just kind of to help me like blend everything out a little bit more, because I'm gonna go in with a darker shade right after. So that is that one, and then the darker shade that I'm going to go in with is from my Bourjois Smoky Eyes palette. I'm gonna go into the darkest brown shade in here, and I'm using another blending brush, and this one is a Sephora one. Like all the letters have rubbed off, there is nothing really on there anymore. I've had this for a long time as well, and I'm realizing that this one actually does not have a mirror, so I'm just gonna use the mirror in my Glamour to Go palette. Not that that's that important for you guys, but in case you were curious which mirror I was using. So this I'm gonna put like mostly in my outer corner, but then also blend it up in my crease to darken that up a little bit. But I definitely want the outer part to be the darkest part. So I'm gonna be layering that a couple of times to make sure that it actually shows up the way that I want it to. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched Crazy Ex-Girlfriend on Netflix, but every time when I hear the words I wanted to, I have to think of one of the songs in there, which is called I Could If I Wanted To. My mind kind of works like that. The moment I have heard a certain song, anytime a phrase from that song just passes by, my mind starts singing songs. So my mind is full of songs like all the time. As you can see, there is a little bit of fallout from this shade as well, but it's nothing like too bad. I've had this palette for quite a long time, so I guess at a certain point they just get a little bit more powdery, like the colors in the palettes. But this is still manageable. And if it would be a black, it would be A little bit more annoying than with the brown as well, I guess. So I'm just layering and patting and blending all of that. And then we have the brown in my crease as well. And I'm going back in with the blending brush that I used Discreet on, just to kind of blend out the outer parts a little bit. Make sure it all kind of works nicely. There are no weird, like, harsh edges anywhere. And now I'm going in with that blue shade. Wait, let me get rid of that little bit, because otherwise I keep looking at my own face with the little blotches of brown underneath my eyes. So like maybe not the most like expected combination, but for some reason I do actually like the blue shade in my Lush palette with the brown in the crease. It's not, it definitely is a warmer brown, as you can see. Like, it's also kind of working well with my eyes as well. It makes them bluer, but it's not like too warm in my opinion to work with this blue. So I'm using this what is it again, Urban Decay brush that came with a naked palette, and I'm going into the blue shade right here, and that, once again, no mirror, that is going on my lid. And I'm using a really flat brush just because there is quite a bit of fallout, and for some reason this shade has a lot of trouble like actually staying on my eye. If I use too fluffy of a brush, it kind of just, I guess, blends it away. So I've learned to use a like really flat brush to like pack it on, and sometimes I also move to my finger to like really make sure it sticks the way that I want it to. Just that little bit of warmth that you use with your fingers can make a difference, especially with like the shades that do not stick the way you want them to without. Of course you can use like a glitter glue or something as well, but I don't have that, and this is not per se a glitter shade, which doesn't really matter. I guess glitter glues are mainly just help things stick, and glitters just happen to show up better when they stick properly. So I'm going in, sorry, that's my middle finger, with my finger as well. And I don't know if you guys can see, but there, like at least in the mirror where I'm looking, there definitely is a difference with like going in with my finger and just having done the brush. So it definitely is worth it to go in like that. And now I put that on the finger that I blend my concealer with, which I always keep doing, and I shouldn't, because I don't want my under eyes to be blue as well after this. So once again, using my like fluffy brush to take that all away. And now I'm going in actually with the Glamour to Go, or at least the shade that's in here. It is a shade from my Enchanted Glamourland palette, and this is the silver shade that I'm going to be using here. And little spoiler alert, I used this a few times in this look over the last like week or so, and I hit pan on it already. So that's good to know, because I thought there was still a whole lot of silver for me to go through, and actually that pan turned out to be a little bit like thinner, the amount of product that was still in there, than I thought, because that was kind of like my overflow pan when I was working with that. So I'm putting the silver on top now, and that like makes the blue into a like slightly more glittery, but also like a lot paler blue, at least on the inside, which I actually like, especially like now going into springtime. Like the paler colors are a little bit more what I'm hoping to get, but I want to make sure that the blue underneath is like really there, because otherwise it is kind of hard to make sure that it still shows up as blue and not like just fully silver. What I'm doing now actually is going back into that blue shade right there and just making sure that at least on the outside you can still see the blue. So it's like a more paler color on the inside, and then on the outside it's a bit more like actual blue. And then going back in with the Bourjois shade as well to build it up a little bit again, to make sure that the blue is not like completely taking over. So that goes into especially that outer corner. Like my crease is still fine, but the outer corner kind of disappeared a little bit. And then really, for me, this doesn't feel dark enough yet. And I guess I've just been really used to using black in my outer corner, so I'm just not really used to seeing like lighter shades anymore. So I'm gonna go in with the Lancome color right here, and this is a pencil brush from Essence that I've had for a long time as well. And I'm gonna take that and put that like really in the like outer V section of my eye to darken things up a little bit more still, because that's just how I like my eye looks most of the time. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, not completely winging it out because it's not going to go into an angle, but kind of a diagonal way of blending, I guess. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but yeah. And then I'm using the blending brush that I used with the brown shade as well to kind of like blend that all together again. And I just love what my under eyes look like right now with all the fallout. Yeah, so that only leaves us with still putting on my eyeliner. And as you guys know, at the moment I am using the Catrice Made to Stay under eye, or inside eye. Inside eye, I'm using it on top of my eyes. Kohl Kajal eyeliner in Come Black and Stay. So I'm just like, I'm being really careful with this one because I don't want too much of this on. I like my eyeliner to be like, I want it to be there, but I don't want it to be too much. So I'm kind of trying to go like mainly in between my eyelashes really, to just get a little bit of the shade there, but not have it become a really thick line because I'm putting it like above my lash line, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that is the eyeliner in that sense, but I also set it with the Lancome color again, and this time I'm using a angled like eyeliner brush from Real Techniques again. This is the one, what is it? Oh, 202. And I'm using the Lancome eyeshadow, and I'm kind of patting that where I just put the eyeliner, just to make sure that like any gaps or any weird angles, the stamping way just works better for me. My face looks ridiculous right now. But yeah, when I stamp, I feel like I can get things to look exactly the way I want it to. And with an eyeliner, it's just hard to really make a straight line. Might be because I'm just not that experienced with it, but why change something that's already working for you? Like, don't fix it when it's not broken, right? Okay. So that is like most of the eye look. I'm still gonna be putting stuff on my inner corner, but I'm gonna start with like putting on my base. So basically for me that means using my concealer to just get rid of any like more red parts, which is like kind of my nose and here, my chin. Always looks nice when it's not blended yet. So see, now I'm using that same, I'm just not thinking. I did rub it off on my hand a little bit, but I'm just hoping I don't get too much of that blue underneath my eyes now. And just my nose always happens to be a little bit red as well, so I'm always like adding whatever is left basically just actually on top of my nose. And right now I'm using the viewfinder to do my makeup instead of actually using a mirror, which might work a little bit better, but we're making it work. So yeah, even though I'm only using a concealer, that concealer goes on a lot of parts on my face. So like, yeah, I'm not using foundation, but at the same time, the concealer almost becomes my foundation. There just is parts of my face where I don't find it necessary. Like especially now that the sun is starting to come out a little bit again, like my freckles start showing a little bit more, and I don't want to like get rid of them completely. So anywhere where I can still kind of have them show through, I will try and actually do that. The nail polish on my nails, by the way, is what is it again? Lunar Eclipse? I have it right here. It's not rocket science. Lunar Eclipse, that's another one. From Orly. In case you were wondering, because I think like you guys see it a lot now that I'm actually just patting everywhere on my face. But yeah, I think my concealer is okay enough right now, so I'm gonna go in with some powder. And I use my L'Oreal True Match powder at the moment. I'm gonna zoom you guys out a little bit because I'm not just focusing on the eyes anymore. And there really isn't much left in here anymore, so I'm taking that fluffy powder brush from Real Techniques. This is, what is your name? Powdered. It's called a powder brush. That is the name of the brush. Just trying to get out of there what I can still get out, and I'm just kind of squeezing my brush so it's not just on a tiny part, but it's actually on like most of the bristles. But the main reason I am using powder is to just like kind of blot the parts where I know I will get shiny. So it goes a little bit on my forehead, my nose and my chin, and then whatever is left goes on my cheeks. And then I'm doing that squeezy thing again just to do my under eyes as well, because I'm turning 30 this year and my skin is not like all nice and stretched anymore. So some powder is nice to make sure things don't heap up in the little like wrinkles that I have under my eyes. My skin is a little bit dehydrated, especially in that area anyway, so that means I will see wrinkles quite quickly. Anyway, moving on to bronzer. I'm using the NYX Sweet Cheeks Matte Blush as my contour, and with that I'm using this Hema Kabuki brush, which again I kind of squeeze and then use to like create that shadow underneath my cheekbones. I still don't know how smart it is for me to use the camera instead of a mirror, but it works for now. So that is kind of like me creating the shadow. So I do it kind of squeezing first, and then I blend things out a little bit so it's not too harsh of a line that I end up with. And I start basically just from my ear, kind of going underneath my cheekbones, starting like more towards the back because that's where I would expect most shadow to be. And then whatever is left, kind of like my temples. So yeah, just a little bit of shadow because I feel like I have a like somewhat round face, so it's nice to like create a little bit more shadow there. Now I'm thinking for blush, because this is quite a cool tone blush, I'm gonna go with the cooler tone blush that I'm using right now as well. This is the Revlon Pinking of You blush that is in my whole collection project pan right now. I'm trying to use it 10 times before it rolls out again. And this goes like, I know a lot of people say like you need to put this on the apples of your cheeks, but because I like to kind of use my blush to help my contour instead of making my whole face look more round as well, I'm kind of like starting on my cheeks, but I'm brushing it back as well, so it's not my contour shade, but it does contour a little bit for me basically. And actually, just to give you guys all the info, this is the blush brush from Real Techniques. I think a lot of you guys will know this anyway, but going in with highlighter then, Nars Albatros. I love this highlighter. I'm going in with the Real Techniques contour brush, which I'm not using to contour. And that is going on my cheekbones, tip of my nose, and my cupid's bow. And it's going on both sides. Okie dokie. And then the last bit for my cheeks is the L'Oreal Glam Bronze Blonde Harmony Sun Radiance Trio. Also for this I'm using my blush brush and I'm kind of just like swirling my brush all over and this goes on top of where I already put my blush. It's kind of to what is like as a blush topper. That's what I'm trying to say. So it makes things a little bit extra shiny. And I like my shine. On my cheeks I don't have wrinkles, so it still works for now. Do people get wrinkles? Yeah, I guess you do get wrinkles on your cheeks as well. But yeah. So that is my cheeks. I thought you guys still might want to see kind of how I do that. Right now I'm gonna do my eyebrows, and that takes longer than I want to do in this video, so I'm just gonna quickly do that off camera and get back to you guys to finish everything off. So my brows are on now, and just to show you guys, for my brows I am using these two shades together. So I mainly use Naked, and then I do like 1 or 2 small dips into Buck to warm things up a little bit and to deepen things a little bit more. But I don't want it to be too dark or warm. So Buck on its own doesn't work, and Naked just doesn't give me the definition that I want. So the combination works for me for now. Okay, so next I've also curled my eyelashes, and I'm gonna do like the inner corners of my eyes. For that, as you can see, I'm using that Hema pencil that I also used like kind of as my base to make sure that it pops a little bit more. And I'm going into the Lush palette as well, and I'm using the white shade from here with this like nice tiny detailer brush from Real Techniques. So this is going in my inner corners for a like nice and bright inner corner. So that is what we're doing there. Just trying to think if there's anything else, because sometimes I forget stuff before I like do my face mist, and I don't like that. But I think that's it. So right now I'm using the Pixie Glow Mist because I wanted to test it out. It worked well for me. Like, I'm still really missing that Body Shop Vitamin C like face mist. That really was my favorite. It did exactly what I wanted it to do, but this works quite nicely as well. It's a very fine mist. Like, the mister is really nice. So I do notice that I have to kind of spritz it a little bit more for it to give me the same feel that the Vitamin C or even the other one from the Body Shop that I've been using does, but it kind of helps with the glow without it being like a greaseball type look, I guess, that I'm trying to go for. Anyway, time for the lips, and for my lips I'm using the Apocalypse lip lacquer in Apocalyptic from Rimmel, and like I've really started to get used to just like combining the weirdest, because like the first times I tried to use like pink and blue together, I was like, oh my god, that's very 90s, 80s. My head is confused. But yeah, like, you know, the time where they use blue on their eyelids all the time and pink on your lips with that. Now, this doesn't fully do it for me, but I'm using the Gosh On Stage Kohl Lip Jam in 101. Yep. I always think it's so boring when the names are just numbers, but yeah, like I put that on top, and that little bit of shine and just a little like blueness of what's in here makes this more cool tone and makes it work together better, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys even see the difference. I feel like it makes a difference, so I'm going for it. And then lastly, we've got the mascara, of course. I'm still using this Clinique Lash Power Mascara, which is not the one that I wanted to buy, but the packaging looked so similar that I accidentally bought it, and I bought it as a 3-pack, so I've got a few that I need to get through still. I prefer the High Impact Mascara from them. This, I think there are little particles in here that should help like lengthen your lashes, like those fibers, you know, but those fibers end up in my sink when I'm taking off my makeup, and it creates such a mess, and I'm just not feeling that. So yeah, Anyway, that is my mascara, and that means that this is the final look. So lips, eyeshadow, cheeks, everything done. I hope you guys like watching this. I know it's been a little while since I've done one of those, so I hope you managed to get all the way through, and yeah, you like the look as well, because I've been wearing it a couple of times recently, and I actually think this is a really nice way for me to combine both the blue and the silver, which I'm always kind of trying to figure out how to wear these types of shades. I think this works. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Bye bye.